Okay. Yeah, I am from City University of New York, Queensborough Community College, and Dr. Cheung. We both work at physics department. Basically, we teach pre-engineering, pre-medical physics courses, and this work we thought about the mechanics course. Usually in the mechanics course, I know you may not familiar with physics part, but I will go basic thing and probably skip many material that relevant to physics. So in physics course, we basically cover mechanics. Mechanics include kinematics, motion, dynamic, energy, momentum, rotation, those topics. But we miss out the fluid mechanics part, fluid mechanics and heat, because that is usually at the end of the semester. Very little time we have to cover those material. So almost all physics courses in the first part we cover kinematic, dynamics, energy, momentum, and rotation. So to the learning of the fluid mechanics and diffusion process in project, we use like a project to eliminate the gap that courses usually don't cover. Okay, technical transition from physics course such as physics on mechanics to a student project base is found to be successful. And pedagogy borrowing them psychology counseling practices in terms of the creation of the new memories, positive experience, uncertainty reduction, self-affirmation, enrich this topic. As a bonus throughout the understanding of the technical, let me see, terms, we can reduce from those. Yeah. So the new memories we learn using a Matlab that is freely available and Python programming. I know its slide looks very long. I don't really go over all the material here. The first thing is the concept of uncertainty is a well-known thing. For daily life, for example, holding an object in a stationary place has certain uncertainty. It can move up and down. So everything has an uncertainty limit, not only position, all other things. So generally speaking, uncertainty is a simulation, may not all negative. And you see a couple of examples, don't want to go over all of them because I want to go to the end. Yeah. So the comparison learning, concept of comparison cloud carry subtly. To compare versus compare with, difference was illustrated by poet in this article. Okay. The other thing is the bell curve uncertainty. To open admissions, college students would generally need some remedian to catch up due to less high school preparation. And for instance, for STEM courses, their math preparation is really low. So we had like a hard time teaching physics to those less prepared students. And brain neuroscience inquiry, the recent study found that brain activation with electrode supported arithmetic for adult participants who were poor in math learning. And simple operations such as 16 times 3 or 17 times 2 were used for these studies. Although our community college cannot afford those testing because it's expensive, we are not capable of that, but we can do the uncertainty thing. So we administered a multiplicative task, a 5-minute pre-lab exercise for about 19 students. The major culprit found to be uncertainty recalling the multiplication table from 1 to 9. A comparison to the learning phonics could offer some insight in the pedagogy. All students in the polling knew phonic table with some uncertainties. The learning of social etiquettes, truth, bare minimum, could be matter of difference. Work learning, that visual, auditory, read, write, kinesthetic, and tactile. Simply put, the lack of arithmetic experience in daily life would mind accumulate uncertainty in the recall the multiplication table. Okay, let me go to the other. The neuroscience of learning uncertainty was discussed with students. The neuroscience information offers explanation to engineering students that the familiarity with the uncertain technique physics could help them gain positive experience with uncertainty reduction. As studied in the science of uncertainty, the knowledge, turbulent uncertainty, and diffusion uncertainty project extension of their knowledge-based study in Physics 1. The student project in terms of uncertainty learning could start computation step of Matlab and Python programming. For instance, the diffusion coefficient value change would correspond to the change of amount of uncertainty. So assessment rubric will use for creation new memories in fluid understanding was in here. We went over Renault number, toy model, Navier-Stokes. Based on this, we assess them, whether they're good, satisfactory, or need improvement. And that's the assessment rubric for creation of memories, reactance purpose understanding. So the positive experience with uncertainty management, elementary programming, related to artificial intelligence, less programming job posted in Indeed.com, and Matlab and Python programming experience are encouraging. Positive experience with critical thinking academic standard. Positive experience with the critical thinking academic standard. Filling the knowledge gap and encouraging aspiration based on engineering education, solving skills, knowledge of job market, senior college academic perspective of industrial applications, revealing their publications of found, post self-affirmation participant. 53 self-assessment phases for professional development in 2023. Self-assessment is an exercise where employee evaluate work performance and state goal for upcoming work. 8 previous goals, 16 current performance, 15 collegiate performance, 14 future goals. To make incorrect assumption about what effective learning, self-regulated learning and metacognition have gained learn because of their role in students' ability to self-assess and learning. Metacognitive illusion is self-regulated learning, assessment in engineering student learning strategies against the backdrop of recent advances, cognitive science. The rubric for the self-affirmation assessment is used in this table. And that's the assessment rubric for fluid physics knowledge application, also reaction diffusion knowledge application. So basic results were the number of students were very low, less than 10. So assessment statistical analysis discussion would be unreliable at this moment. The new memories related to the differential equation solvers in Matlab found to be useful for skill development for student project. from the non-Newtonian flow with the Navier-Stokes equation to the Brusselator reaction diffusion process with turn-in pattern can be used for differential equation solving skill depending on each student individual aspiration. Assessment data on our community college pre-engineering student, so that programming skill in solving coupled differential equation in terms of stability and deterministic chaos investigated now within their academic capability after taking physics 1 mechanics part. So there's another example for case of 2 consisting of 2 advanced high school students taking physics classes. Both advanced high school students were interested in chemical engineering related computation jobs. The instructor used a published Matlab program to show the learning uncertainty, the content of second year physics. Matlab program less than 30 coding lines, so stochastic Brusselator simulation with corresponding image was used. The 2 interested students edited the diffusion coefficient. They did a lot of complicated thing in using Matlab. So I skip that. So in regular physics courses, self-affirmation assessment data showed that at-risk students will score well in solving regular physics problems, but not diffusion reaction project. 2 cohort, 20 calculus physics course students and 44 algebra-based physics course students. Positive experience inconsistent with examination scores contribute the metacognition illusion when self-regulation learning fail. I know. So finally, the acceptance of the creation of positive experience psychology has 2 poles, namely, one is the education science, 2 culture proposed by Professor Jean Berrier, teaching not the science. Culture pedagogy, Brown, Brack, Luncheon, learning from STEM leaders, exchange ideas, post-decision first step in the education science to develop computational skill to create neural connections as regular excitation without the dopamine spike. The community college open admission students are given various data sources to enhance their computational skill in terms of high impact science project. Differential equation solving skill pedagogy provide culture using applied physics in the establishment of practical connection, positive experience to the 3rd and 4th year mechanical and chemical engineering related program of senior colleges. And YouTube video culture for differential equation are accepted by students and by publishing STEM majors in turning out to be terrible investment. You can see the search link. Differential equation project offer unique experience add value in education and later in job-related issues. I'll skip this actually because of the time. Come back to the conclusion. In the education science, the extension of uncertainty learning with Matlab and Python, differential equation packages in project learning beyond first-year calculus physics. The neuroscience of the learning of uncertainty was discussed with student neuroscience information offers explanation to engineering students. Familiarity with uncertainty in technical physics could help in gaining positive experience with uncertainty reduction. Culture is important, self-assessment, positive experience, and self-support new memories. Avoid metacognitive illusion by self-assessors, self-regulated learning in student project. And future studies could include an investigation on relationship of self-affirmation and metacognitive illusion within pair pedagogy. The at-risk student group in regular physics courses to maintain diversity and inclusiveness. Okay, I think I will stop here. I know it may not very clear, but if anybody has any questions, I can address those.
Thank you very much. This was all news.
Okay.
So this was
I know it's the not clear, so I'm not whether it is appropriate here, but Professor
was
Cheung is secretary here.
it was clear because I ended up taking some questions down. So I'm going to ask them in order of importance to me.
Uh,
So in one of your slides, you talked about how sometimes students are less prepared for physics courses.
yeah.
So how do you catch them up to everybody else?
Yeah, thing is, we did various things. Usually, our physics classes combined with the lab portion. In the lab portion, we use about an hour for to improve their math skills. And lab period is like 3 hours. From 3 hours, we spend about an hour just to improve their math skills. We give like a worksheet. Like actually, some student doesn't even know the order of operation when it comes. Especially because post-COVID area now, they come through the high school with very less preparation, very little math knowledge. That's the hardest thing we had. So we try to do that. We try to arrange student group with like a, teaching assistant and paid hourly, go through improve their math skill, but still very hard. So they don't really genuinely prepare come to like prepare for this. That's why.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have a question? Okay, going once.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay.
my final question is
Uh,
you talked a lot about self-assessments.
yeah.
Can you give an example of what that looks like?
Oh, the like we give like several like surveys among students, and we use that for one like a part of assessment, and also throughout the semester we like test them like in their math preparation and also in the physics skills uh, using simple like a worksheet. We use those for assessment too.